What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Miami Miles. My name is Mickey. In today's episode, I'm going to do a full car collection overview, what I like, dislike about each car, where my GT3 is, and most importantly, what is the future for each one of these cars. So let's get right into it. So let's start with my family car, the 2018 Macan Turbo. This car is the longest standing car in my collection. I think we've had it almost 3 years now. We've put upwards of 20,000 miles on it, and it's served us through every major moment and memory in our life. Now, this Macan Turbo is special because it was ordered from the collection with just about every single option. I believe it is one of the highest spec Macan Turbos in the entire world. You can see just how beautiful it is. Now I know there's a bunch of Macan Turbos everywhere, but this one sets itself apart with its delicious turbo wheels, the carbon fiber here on the inside, the carbon all over the interior, the extended leather packages that surround every surface of the car. This thing is my warrior, the car I used to do everything, to go on road trips, to take my son to his appointments, to go out with my wife on dates. I don't know if I'm going to get rid of this because I haven't found anything that could supplant this car in terms of its breadth of capabilities for under $300,000. Sure, I love the DBX 707, but you're talking about 300 grand. This car right here, as it sits, the value of it is right about $70,000, and I think for 70 grand, it's a hell of a proposition. So let's jump in it, go for a little drive, and talk to you about how this car actually makes me feel. So here we are in the Macan Turbo around this car, third gear, PDK executing the crispest shifts in the world en route to 80 miles an hour onto those brakes. Yo, as an SUV that delivers an emotional experience, this car is right up there. Sure, it doesn't have the V8 growl that you desire from something like this, but this PDK makes the experience so engaging. Watch this, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. And the reason why I removed my hand like that, apart from, being how I am, is to show you just how fast those shifts are executed. This thing as a sport proposition is incredible. Doing 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds, quarter miles in the low 12s. It's a car that really immerses you in its experience. But what about everything else about the car that I love? Well, this car is super convenient and super well-rounded. Actually, I have been married in this car. I got my second dog in this car. I took my son home for the very first time in this car. I moved into my home in this car. 3 years, 20,000 miles in this car, and just about every memory I've ever had has been in this car. It's really that special to me. Now, what don't I like about this car? Well, I think the only thing I don't like about the Macan is that it's way smaller than you would think. It's an elevated 911. Sure, it's got back seats, but those back seats are compromised. Sometimes it's hard to put my son back there. Now, I'm sure the Cayenne would fix that, but the Cayenne eliminates this dual clutch transmission. But the car is just not that big. If we want to go on a road trip, throw my son in there, throw my wife in here, my dogs, and some luggage, the car is absolutely packed. So yes, that's probably the only thing I don't like, apart from my wish that I did have a V8 rumble in the exhaust. You can hear right here. Third gear, 70 miles an hour. You can't even hear the car, right? All you hear is some wind noise. So yeah, those are the only two things I dislike about the car, and those things are not enough to make me want to get rid of it. All right, so now I want to talk about my 981 Cayman GT4. I've had this car for right around, I want to say 6 months. It's June, I got it in December. And it's been a great car, but for those of you that are new to the channel, you probably don't know that this car actually had a bunch of issues when I bought it. Thank God the car is certified pre-owned, but when I got it, the headlights were messed up, the dash was ungluing, the headliner was drooping, the exhaust was leaking, the springs were squeaky. And, for the last couple months, I've just felt like shit about this car because you spend $100,000 on a car like this and you expect it to be flawless, especially if it's CPO, and to your chagrin, I don't know if that's the word, you know, to your disappointment, you realize that the car is just in bad shape. But over the last 5 months, Porsche has fixed everything. This car is now almost brand new, and I've wrapped it in what is perhaps the most beautiful Porsche color in the world, Ruby Stone Red. So let's jump in the car, go for a drive, and talk you through what I like and dislike about it and whether or not it's staying. All right, Cayman GT4. First, second, onto the carbon ceramics. Dude, the carbon ceramics are so good. It's funny because I feel like the brakes outdo the performance probably 2 to 1. First gear, there's the power. Long gearing, 60 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour. Onto the brakes. Rev match into this little corner and power up. The gearing's so long, dude. All right, 80 miles an hour, onto the brakes. Well, what do I love about the GT4? I think this car's best feature is how well balanced it is and how that balance translates into your ability to exploit this car like the bad little boy that he is. Like, this car, you can beat the shit out of it every single day, go obscene speeds on roads, you can steer, you can brake, you can have confidence that you're not gonna kill yourself. That is this car's best party trick. But even though it's great at those things, it's lacking in a couple other. I feel like Porsche definitely held this car back in terms of its gearbox and in terms of its power plant. This car has the tallest gears in the world. Now, I know you guys know this, but still second, 83 miles an hour. You guys saw that. That was almost 83 miles an hour in second gear. It's just too long because the car's not powerful enough to deliver any torque as you're building those revs. So you have to literally rev it out to 8,000 to get any power delivery. So yeah, it's underpowered, the gearing sucks, things that could be fixed with the DeMan upgrade, but the DeMan upgrade is gonna set you back $60,000 after it's all said and done. But what else do I love about this car? Apart from, you know, the way that it handles. Well, I do love the fact that it's convenient. It's got 2 trunks. It clears driveway spaces and speed bumps extremely well. It doesn't rub. It's extremely comfortable. It rides over bumps much better than you would think, and it has the right amount of rawness. But I think the thing I like the least about it is the fact that it's just underpowered and has too tall a gearing. And one little cherry on top is the fact that this car right now is trading in the neighborhood of $110,000 to $115,000 with a few trading in that region and bring a trailer, but this one is certified pre-owned, so it's got another 1.5 years of warranty. I'm curious to see what this car is going to fetch at auction, and I am indeed going to sell this car. It just doesn't make any sense for me to keep it. I've got a 765 LT Spider, which steers and handles and brakes just as good as this, but it's 3 times faster. And I've got a GT3 Touring getting a very, very special modification up at DeMan. So let's head back to the house and talk about the other cars. So now that we've talked about the GT4 and established that it is indeed going to get sold, let me give you an update on the GT3. I actually compared the GT3 Touring against this on this video right here. And this thing had such a higher peak, so much more emotion, so much more, raising my heart rate and getting me super excited that I decided to sell the Touring. But the more and more I thought about it, I decided instead that that car could use an extra 100 horsepower. So I sent it up to DeMan, and I actually just got a status update from DeMan.
So the motor, he said it's going to be coming out sometime next week. He doesn't have an exact date. He wants to have it all spread out for you. It's like 3 or 4 days of notice, enough travel time to give you.
So as you guys can see, I'm about to go up to DeMan to check out the car, document the entire process, and talk to Rick DeMan himself to see exactly what they're going to do to bore and stroke that 4 liter to 4.5 liters to make upwards of 600 wheel horsepower. So inevitably, we're going to have a 600 rear wheel horsepower 991.2 Touring. This thing's going to go, but what about this thing? What about the 765 LT Spider? Dude, this thing is something from another world, from another dimension. Like I'm watching Stranger Things, you know? There's this new monster that touches people and makes them all die. Exorcist style, that's what this is. This car is from a different planet. So let's jump in it, tell you what I like, what I dislike, and whether or not this car is gonna go bye-bye.
It got me stone cold. You got me stone cold. It got me stone cold.
Alright, so a 765 LT Spider, first gear, second gear, third gear, 90 miles an hour. Wing kicks up. Yes, guys, you've seen me review this thing a million times and you've seen my expressions. It's so powerful, so capable. And the thing that really highlights this car's breadth of performance and its peak is jumping out of the GT4 into this. You realize that this is a much better GT4 with a better ride, better brakes, better steering, and 3 times the power. This thing is otherworldly, but I'll go ahead and link a couple of my reviews down below so you guys can check those out. I think I want to get into my plans for this car. Am I going to sell it? Am I going to keep it? Well, for now, I think I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it. I don't want to ruin the relationship that I've established with McLaren. Now, this thing is not just about the relationship, it's how good this car is. It's a spectacular car, so it does warrant me keeping it. But by keeping it, I am putting at risk about $500,000 in equity in this car. This car is currently going for in the neighborhood of $750,000, and I think this might be the best spec one by far if I put it up for sale. So it might even fetch 800 G's on auction or on Bring a Trailer. But I want to keep the car. I want to enjoy the car. I want to savor the car. And the things that I want to do to these things include, I want to get a new exhaust. So I've been hit up by my boy K-Nut, and he's got an Inconel exhaust that we can get and throw on this thing from Klein. I'd love to hear how that sounds. So that's in the pipeline. I want to take it to the drag strip. I want to race a bunch of cars in it. I want to take it on some rallies, and I want to take it to Smoky Mountain to run this thing through the pass and hopefully through the tail of the dragon. There's a lot of shit I want to do in this. So this car, out of all of them, is honestly staying. I think it's just too special, too fast, too much of an event to get rid of. Watch this. So right now, yeah, you know, first gear. That is a mother car, ladies and gentlemen. Let's head back home before I get us killed and talk about the cars that are incoming to the garage. So that concludes the tour of my car collection. But now that you know that the Macan Turbo is staying, the 765 is staying, and the GT4 is going, and last but not least, the GT3 Touring is staying, what else is going to join us in the Miami Miles universe? Well, first and foremost, a CT5V Blackwing. I actually put that order in, I think, 6 or 7 months ago. The car has been confirmed, but it has not yet been built. They're taking forever to build these manual CT5Vs. Now, I'm super excited for that car because it's got the carbon ceramics, every exterior carbon option, and the delicious electric blue paint. That car is going to be spectacular, but I might not get that until the end of the year. Besides that, I am going to replace that car with something. I don't know what that something is, but I'm thinking M2 CS, M4 GTS. I want a BMW. I've never had a BMW before, so I think a BMW would be a healthy addition to the garage and a great replacement to the GT4, and something I could modify and put a bunch of power in. So let me know what you guys think about that idea. Go down below. Give me your comments. Tell me what you think I should add, what you think I should sell. Am I stupid? Am I making the wrong decision? Am I about to lose $500,000 in this? Well, maybe I am, but I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, go down below. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you next video. Take care.